Hey guys, this is Toddy One Skip, and I'm not too sure where this video is going to land, to be honest with you, whether it's going to be on issues with Toddy One Skip or everybody has a story to tell with Toddy One Skip. Guys, a few of you have asked me to cover the David case, D4VD, the singer, right? Now, nobody that I know of in our group really cares about the guy's career. They care about the fact that a 13-year-old was found the day after her 14th birthday, decomposing in the front trunk of his Tesla. You know, and this is a man who's in his 20s. Now, I wouldn't have known this guy. I never heard of this guy. If I'd have bumped into this guy, I wouldn't know who this guy is. But there are these superstars coming out of the woodworks, and sometimes even just online people get these stands. Are they stands? I know that a 14-year-old child died when she was 13, found the day after her 14th birthday, decomposing in a very hot Tesla because somebody called in for an odor. That body'd been in there for a long time. Her parents, her family had called her in missing 3 times in 2024. How can you not control a 13-year-old child? Now, I know that you can't lock them into their room, even though, to be honest with you, you could lock the doors so they can't get out. I mean, the windows, both the windows shut. God forbid there's a fire. Yeah, they got one way of getting out, but they're getting out every other way. You have to be able to do something. But why and what is it that somebody is looking for at 13, 14 years old? To be accepted, to be wanted, to be popular? Do they think that they're in love? There is something wrong in today's society if people are holding people that they honestly don't know in such a regard and willing to do things with these people that they know that perhaps they're not ready to do, or perhaps they shouldn't be doing. Perfect example, Ian Watkins. Ian Watkins from Lost Prophets, the man that was found murdered in his jail cell or prison cell. I think it was October 11th. Good looking guy, singer, talented, millionaire, living his dream, but yet a desire, a sick desire for young beings, because I think even some weren't human. A very sick guy in the presence of a bunch of girls that would go backstage, people that he would meet and they would offer their babies to him so that he can have X. What makes us think these people are safe because they're on stage, because we see them, because they smile for us, they sing to us? What makes us think these are good people? And why do these parents allow this to happen? Why do they have the fake sense of security when dropping a kid off at a concert? There is no safe sense of security anymore that I'm aware of in the USA. So why are people just willy-nilly with their kids? Why are people just haphazard? The things that we would sit there years ago and just be, and now it's like just another news story that gets fallen between the cracks and doesn't get spoken about. So the content creators, it's like a layer of stuff, right? So things first all over the news, everybody, the sensationalism and stuff becomes the news. And then something else comes in, and that's the news of the week. But instead of the old news of the week just being discarded and forgotten about, there's this whole other layer of people that are catching it and saying, wait a minute, what is this? I hear what you've said about it, but what is this? And the content creators kind of go through it again. And then the newer content creators pick up the story and they go through it again. And there's so many eyes, and then there's so many amateur sleuths that are fantastic at being sleuths that they figure something out and they see something that somebody else missed. And then that case is opened up. So when people ask me, hey, Toddy, can you go over this case? Or hey, Toddy, can you go over that case? I need to find out what's going on with these cases before I go over them. And then I'm welcome, as long as I have an interest and a passion. Otherwise, it's like, I can't sell you a story I don't feel good about. I can't sell you a story that I'm lying about or that I don't have an interest in, because there's no passion in it for me. So I got to have some passion in the story that I'm talking about in order to share it online. I'm trying to understand why she had the freedom that she had, a 13-year-old girl. Why nobody knew who David was. Why nobody met David. Her family didn't meet David. She was going out with her boyfriend David to the movies. Who does that? Where does that happen? How? Why is it happening now? What has happened to the rearing of our kids? Is it seriously, and I'm asking, is it because there's a lot of single family homes, single parent homes? Is it because a lot of people are working for a living and they just can't be there for their kid and they have to trust their kid with doing the right thing? And if that kid just is of weaker mind, and I'm talking about this, the coercive control, the manipulation that people are unaware of until later, and a lot of times it's too late. The people in the higher powers, they're make believe. Ian Watkins, so what? He can sing. There's somebody here, I bet you, in our group of folk that sings better than Ian Watkins. There's always somebody better, and there's always somebody worse. Ian Watkins, good looking man, always somebody better looking than him. What is it? David, him, I don't know much about. I'm just finding out about. Celeste, 13 years old, with a man in her 20s. Supposedly she had met him. I don't know how long she was with him for, but why was she with him? People saw this and they just okayed it. This has got to stop. This has got to stop. We haven't had enough of this. This has got to stop. This is habitual. We need to check this out. This is Danny Masterson, R. Kelly, P. Diddy. There's accusations about Kevin Spacey. There's accusations about a bunch of people that have behaved inappropriately because they have used their power. And then these people feel weaker. But the people that feel weaker need to have some sort of protection looking out for them. Now we have a child dead in the trunk of a car. And we don't know how and why that happened, or why it took so long for her parents to. Is it that they didn't get the help they needed? I don't understand. I just don't. When you raise a child and you're bringing a child into this world, if they have those problems that they don't listen, don't you adjust that when they're adjustable at an adjustable age? Aren't they? Can't they be trained at a certain age? I used to hate that saying. My dad used to say, training the kids. And in fact, it was. It was. And there's nothing wrong with it. The terminology might be better. You might find a better terminology, but that's what you're doing. You're teaching your child. Well, okay, teaching your kids much be better than that. All right, but you see what I'm saying? In today's society, things are very tough. We're raising children and we're sending them to schools that we don't even know if they're going to come home from, right? Because of what's going on. And we've sat here and just kind of watched it happen. And now what used to shock us has become normalized. It really has. So when we hear things about one child being taken advantage of, more than likely, right? Because at that age, at 13 years old, you can't consent to anything. With a 20 something year old, you can't consent. You don't have any kind of experience behind you to make wise decisions. And you fall under that coercive control. But even people that are of the same age and somebody's on a higher platform than them, Gypsy Rose Blanchard, look at the manipulation she's had over. First, it was mainstream media, but the internet caught it. The internet said, whoa, 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 and has called her out on it and has brought the story to the truth. They've rewritten the story with the truth. But look at how many people Gypsy Rose got to manipulate in the process of that. Look at Jen Soto. That's a normal, everyday person who was some sort of waste detached from her daughter, that she allowed her daughter to behave as an adult with an adult man. And she's not being charged with anything, and she can have more children. Is that not scary? Is this society? Is it people? Is it sensationalism? What is it? What is it? This is a topic I'd love to have this conversation. Tell me, guys, in the comments, what do you think? And I am going to get deeper into the David story. I'm also going to get deeper into the Judge story, where there's, guys, seriously, I mean, if you can't trust a judge to do the right thing, if judges are making deals behind the backs of people to have actual pleasure done, where in the world does it stop? Who do we trust in today's society? What's going on today? Guys, let's open up the conversation and tell me what you're thinking. I'd love to know. This is Toddy One Skip. I just want to thank you guys. Thank you. Thank you for the love on both channels. And I appreciate you. All right, guys, be well.